182, and I'm taking you to my backyard. I was getting ready to walk out the door to the park. I watched the sunrise this morning, but I'm going to give these two girls a treat this morning for a nice, long, early morning walk. And I also did my routine a little bit differently this morning. Rather than closing my eyes and doing the prayer and meditation, I did an open-eyed one and just really tuned into the nature, watching the sunrise. So I did sort of I don't know if you've ever meditated or prayed that way, but it doesn't always have to be closed eye, a certain way. Sometimes we need to shake it up. It's about what's happening in here that matters. And sometimes we focus so much on doing it right and doing it in a certain way that we get focused on the wrong things, even when trying to do it right. So sometimes it's good to just do things differently. I want to show you, I don't know if you can see, they're too small, but there are lots of birds up here. I have a few neighbors that have big bird houses, and so it's almost like living in a bird sanctuary. I love it. When it's nesting season, my husband does not love it because they like to come and make nests everywhere on our decks. But anyway, on with the Bible. Amos is what I read this morning. Famous Amos. And, it was another prophet telling sort of the same old story, the coming destruction of the people, and then, ending on a little bit of a note of hope, of restoration and redemption. Same story told by a different prophet. And, as I'm reading through this and understanding in my own spirituality or my connection with God, the divine spirit, is developing and strengthening, I'm getting the sense through all of this, it's, we can't just read it literally. We've talked about that before. These stories might be literal, but in the 21st century and in the centuries since this, when reading the Bible is about you, you and God. What can you get out of this? What is he really saying with all of these illustrations and stories? And there's this overall sense of frustration, I gave you all the right tools. I gave you everything you need. And yet, you try to do it on your own and in your own strength. You get hypnotized by your very humanity. The thing that makes you special makes you think that you are special and that you need to do everything in your own strength, and that everything you do is a product of your hard work or even your lack of hard work. Either way is prideful when you think it all is about you, for you, by you. And then that's where, in chapter 6, I saw a lot of the words from Proverbs coming in, all the descriptions of the foolish ways, pride, opulence, luxury, self-importance, power, greed, laziness, everybody just thinking, yep, this is what I did. Look at me. Now I'm going to, enjoy the fruits of my labor. Or even the opposite, pride. A lot of us can be prideful in our non-successfulness. We think, oh, I'm not special enough. I don't have it together. And we block the very gift that God has given us. Either way is blocking. But in our humanness, when we think this is all that it's about, we get self-important. And we are important to the sense God does love us. He gave us life, but it's to co-create with him and to allow his life force to flow in and through us. We are vessels. We are receptacles. We receive. And when we think it's all about us and look what I did and oh, look what I did and now I need to, lay around and enjoy what I've created and lord it over people and all the things that we can get caught up in, then we're going to hear they're running away. Our neighbor's dogs are coming out. They've got to say good morning. I love just dogs being dogs, who they are. They receive it, they spew it right back out. God gave us consciousness and free will. And so we get to choose. Do I want to be my animal self, just running on instinct, thinking that it's all about me and just doing what comes naturally in my instincts? Or do I want to recognize all the time that everything is a gift? Everything is a gift. And that I experience life as a gift. And everything I do in this life, I need to turn around and express back as a gift to God. And also give credit where credit is due. God, thank you. I thank you for giving me the body that could accomplish this. Thank you for giving me the mind that can accomplish this. And how often do we do that? I think some of us recognize that we're supposed to, and even those of us that do it at certain times, maybe at mealtime or on Sundays, are we living that way all the time and remembering, oh yeah, I'm just, there's a thread connecting. There's the life force. There's unseen things happening. My life force that flows through me, flows through my doggos and the birds and everything. It's a gift. And I got the extra special gift of consciousness and being able to think about my thoughts and about myself and my role in the world. And that is a really tricky thing. It's a fine line that God gave us, which is why if we don't stay connected to him and giving credit where credit is due, we get it wrong. And we bring about the destruction to ourselves. It is the paradox. And that is what we're being told over and over again. These folks are experiencing, that we're told about in the Bible, in this rinse and repeat cycle. God is not coming down and crushing them. God is a God of love. They are doing it to themselves. He's allowing it, and he's warning them. He's sending prophets and warning them, if you don't change your ways. And they're making a conscious choice to think that it's all about them. And they're whatever, we get hypnotized by being human and thinking that we're only human. We limit and block and think that it's all about us, and we wear ourselves out or get ourselves into these wrong patterns of being. Or maybe it's not even wrong, but it's not self-serving. We think it's self-serving. It feels very self-serving and self-important, but really we're blocking blessings. We're blocking the true potential of life and co-creating with the Creator. When we think, oh, I'm going to be self-determined, self-made, or, oh, poor me, I can't do it, the world's against me. Either way is a self-important way of being, there's a spectrum. And some of us are on the extreme version or ends of the spectrum, whether we're depressed and defeated and, thinking that the world is against us, and we get caught up in that illusion, or we get caught up in the illusion of wealth and power and look what I did and oh, I'm so great. Either way, it's all about the self. And God keeps telling us over and over again, Invite me in. Give me credit. Let's do this together. Receive. Stop trying so hard on your own. You think that's great? Watch what you can do, what we can do together. Like, And then we get examples and glimpses of that in prophets and kings that live righteously. And of course, Jesus is the ultimate example that submits. And then his name is the one that's known for all eternity and has, we have so many examples, and yet we can't see the forest for the trees. Or maybe we see it, but it's hard to do it. It is really hard to do it because the self wants to be all about the self, and it has a loud voice, and it's like blah, 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 blah. And it sounds like you. It sounds like we identify with that. We grow up with that voice. We think that is us. We identify with it, and then we get hypnotized by it. And I'm no different. I'm like, it's like the scales coming off, like with Paul, and you're starting to see, but it's hard to live by. I think it takes a lot of intentional practice and prayer and doing things that feel very opposite of what you should be doing and living in a way, and then experience by experience and evidence by evidence, you're like, okay. You've got to really train yourself in a new way. And you can learn this just by it's not simple. It's simple, but not easy, I should say. A habit change, to take a habit that you've done your whole life, and habits can show up in the form of thoughts. Thoughts are habitual. You can. Those of us, even if you came wired overly optimistic or overly negative, it's habitual. You can change how you think. You can change what you do. And it all works together because the body and the mind, like it's one intelligence system, all working together in different parts. But I think it really can be done. But it's hard, and it takes a lot of dedication and and even in that, if you get too caught up in that, like, I tried to kind of do something a little bit differently today. You can get caught up in that. Like, it's what's behind it. What are you trying to accomplish behind all of these things, and keeping the main thing. Simple, not easy at all. Hence, we have a manual to help us, and we need to do it. Manuals only work to the extent that you apply and do. And a lot of us like to stay stuck up in our heads thinking, yeah, I agree with that. Yep, that's good. Oh, yep, I believe that. And yet everything we're doing says, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Do you really? That's what we get over and over and over again. So, breaking patterns. You're not broken. Our patterns are broken. Our thought patterns, our belief patterns, and limiting yourself with your own self-importance. Yeah, that's not where it's at. You've got to subdue the self so that the true self, divinely created self, can be put in the driver's seat, which is going to feel very uncomfortable and very counterintuitive to a lot of things that the natural or survival self wants to do and wants to live and wants to think. So anyway, it is going to be a hot one here in the bluegrass today, and I'm going to get my girls out. There's one of them still waiting patiently for me. Oh, if you want to meet one of my cats too. Animals are a good reminder of the natural order of things, and that we are special, but only in the amount that we are actually able to realize that we're not that special. I know, it's a paradox. We've got to be able to hold both seemingly opposite things together and know that it's true. Oh, Here's my other one. All right, you guys have a great day. We're gonna get out for a long early walk, and wherever you are, have a great day. Rise and let your true self, your divinely created self that knows better, shine. And free yourself, even for a short time, of the survival self, a little bit at a time, and tap into your true potential by receiving divine love, divine power, divine. Be a receptacle and see how special that can be when it's not all about you and your own strength or even your own weaknesses. We get caught up in our weaknesses and like to use those as excuses. Either way is self-important. So putting yourself in the proper order and living from that place takes a lot of practice, a lot of humility, a lot of stumbling and falling, a lot of prayer. Like it's not about perfection. Nothing is perfect, but it's about what are you doing behind what you're doing? What are you trying to accomplish? Keeping that in mind, and don't get too caught up in the practices themselves, because they can be distractions and take us off course. All right, my friends, we talked about some pretty complex stuff today. So I'd love to know what you think, and I want you to go have a great day and rise and shine. All right, bye.